So we've just finished our second spin down total of our competent cells for the electroporation. This is the first spin down with glycerol. So you can see a nice pellet in the back there, and it's changed color a little bit. It's no longer yellow, but it's more white. So I'm going to come back over to my bench, where we're going to pour off all that excess glycerol. Now when you pour it off, you need to be very careful that you don't get any, see how there's water dripping off of it from the ice bath? You don't want that contaminating it because it will throw off your salts. So just wrap it in a towel, keeping track of where the pellet is. The pellet is going to be right there. We're going to pour away from the pellet. So double check. Pour away. And then I'm actually going to leave a little towel there. Let it gravity drain for a little bit. You don't want to gravity drain it for too long because then the temperature of the pellet will rise, and you want to keep track of what samples are what. So I'm going to do the same thing for this one. Wrap it in the towel, keep track of where that pellet is, and pour away from it. So show it there for a second. Cap them off, and keep track of your pellet. Again, you don't want that pellet going anywhere, and it's a little bit more delicate now that it's been resuspended in glycerol. You can see it's already starting to move down, and I'm going to recap them, put them back on ice. We want to keep them very, very cold. That will give us a very good yield. Like my ice bath is turning into water here. Now, our first spin is in these big tubes. Our next few spins are going to be in 2 mil Eppendorf tubes. This is going to make it a little bit easier to work with. So I'm going to open them up. I've labeled them. A will be NC1061, B will be 9116. So I grab my pipette, set it to 750, and I'm going to put 1500 microliters of 10% glycerol. Now I'm putting 1500, even though this holds 2 mils, because the pellet is about 500 mils, probably a little bit more. So if I put the full 2 mils in, then I'd be losing some of my cell volume. So I'm going to open that up, and keep track of what is what. Pop open the caps of the tubes. And when you're pipetting glycerol, you need to be very careful because it behaves weirdly just because it's cold and it's kind of thick. So there's one. And 2, cap it, and repeat for the other one. 1, and here's number 2. Recap my 10% glycerol. This is a stock. You always want to be very, very careful about your stocks. Cap everything up, and re-vortex it. Make sure that pellet's towards you, and watch it disappear before your eyes. And every wash step that you do makes it easier and easier to resuspend your pellet. So I'm just going to tap it down. You can see how thick that is. Back on the ice. And I'm going to take my pipette, a fresh tip, and I'm going to set it to 1000 now. So I should have about 2 mils of the cell juice in there. So I'm just going to pipette it out twice. My tubes are open, and I should have these tubes chilled. They're about to go on ice, so it shouldn't really matter that much. So there's 1 mil, and here's mil number 2. Back to the top, and repeat. 1. Number 2. And we're going to cut these, and these immediately go on ice. These really need to stay cold. And give them a little quick chill. Mix them around a little bit. They get real cold. And then spin them down for, well, the protocol says 30 seconds. I do 45 seconds just because it won't pellet that well if you do it too short. And we'll be right back.